Okay, this is part 3. I'm gonna just call this the Jarvis files. The Jarvis travel files. We're gonna pick back up where we left off. So, I think we left off in Czechoslovakia.
Right.
And you said you got a teaching job.
Right, I had a job teaching English.
Okay.
This was September 1990. So it was less than a year after the revolution. So I taught at Pulaski University in Olomouc, which is about 3 hours, probably east of Prague. I can't remember exactly, but it was 3 hours by train away from Prague, the capital.
What would the difference be between that area and the capital?
The city was smaller, okay, and that's Moravia. It's the area it's called.
Moravia.
Yeah. And the thing is, so I settled into the university and
teaching English. Yeah.
Teaching English as a second language.
Okay. Were your students all natives of Czech?
All Czech. All right. And what they were doing, they were studying either English plus another subject. Okay. And at that university, you studied 2 things. So it was a language plus the subject matter. So I had people studying maybe math and English or Italian or German or something like that. So all of them, the students I taught had actually 2 majors. And I actually taught, I had a group that come from the science department. And, they studied physics, geology, biology, and they also studied English. Right. And so I was their English teacher, but the majority of the students I had, they already had basic knowledge of English. Not all of them. Okay. They had basic knowledge. So I was just teaching the conversation part. They probably picked up grammar from their high school teachers and things like that. Okay. So I did that, and I did that for a year. I don't want to ramble on, but I did that for a year. Mm-hmm. Taught at the university, met some. It was just.
How old were you at that time?
At that time, I was 29. Going on 30, yeah.
So you were relatively young?
Yeah.
Did you date any of your students?
Oh, no. Oh, this is university.
This 10 years now, man. It's more than 10 years.
And this 34 years now, yeah. And then the thing is that it was at the university. Oh, yeah, I had a great time. You know what I'm talking about? I just put it that way. I had a great time at the university. I stayed in a co-ed dorm. It was a co-ed dorm.
Did everyone know that you were a teacher?
Oh yeah, okay. Because there were other teachers from Canada who taught English as well, and also there was a guy from Italy, a guy from Spain. They taught Italian and Spanish.
And you just stumbled upon this job. You said,
right, I stumbled upon this job.
Ran into some people and they all said, "We're teaching English.
Right. I stumbled upon it, and next thing you know, because I had planned to travel around Europe for a whole year. And so what that allowed me to do, earn some money, and also, and look, I had no idea. Because see, I was stuck on Hungary from the previous year, okay? But the thing is that when I got to Czechoslovakia, that's when it was still called Czechoslovakia in 1990. Man, it was beautiful. I stepped back in time. It was like a step back in time. Remember, no internet, no cell phone, all this kind of stuff. So the thing is that the communication, I still communication via snail mail, writing letters, taking it to the post office, dropping it off, and it arrived at my home, a week or 2 later.
How did you manage in Czechoslovakia that, the common language is in English?
The language is Czech. Right. So the thing is, I picked up a lot of, believe it or not, I picked up Czech as I went along, just talking with people, just some basic stuff. I want to get the stuff down if I'm going to meet some women, whatever.
Right. Did you remember some of it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How does it sound?
Ahoy, Yatsimash, hello, how are you? Right. Yeah. Okay. Koliti, how old are you? Koliki Dean, what time is it? And things like that.
And how long were you in Czech?
I was there a year. It was Czechoslovakia. That's what he said. It was Czechoslovakia.
That's a decent amount of time to be somewhere.
Right, yeah. It was Czechoslovakia. And I taught there, and I gained some friendships, lasting friendships. And the students were curious to get to, actually to know Americans, they wanted no foreigners because it was less than a year after the wall came down in
Right.
Berlin, and then it spread all throughout Eastern Europe.
Right.
So this was only, we're talking about what, 9-10 months after the wall had come down.
Right.
So I mean, it was still fresh, man. It was like I stepped back in time with the cars there and everything. You know, they had the old, what they call the Trabants. I think these cars were manufactured in Eastern Europe, and very simple cars. You know, and the Lada, which is, I think it's a Russian car. You still see some of those around. And it was just an amazing time, It was like I stepped back from 1990 to 1950, 1960. Yeah.
Kind of like when you go to Cuba, like that.
Right,
kind of feel.
exactly.
So, what did you do in your spare time? Like, what was your schedule like when you wasn't teaching? What did you do?
I had classes like maybe in the morning, and probably early afternoon, and then hey, it was just party. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
It was just party. You know, you got to figure.
That's fair enough.
I started when I was 29.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
celebrated my 30th during that year. You follow what I'm saying?
Listen, you don't got to justify. I'm just curious.
And it was just party.
Right.
And
what kind of music were they playing at that?
actually, they played a lot of music from the 80s.
From the
You know what I'm
80s,
talking about?
okay.
Because they wanted to hear
The disco dance
yeah,
type,
all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then the music from the 80s, of course, Michael Jackson was big, you know, at that time.
Right.
And it was just. It was just an amazing time. It changed. It was a life-changing experience.
Mhm.
I think I mentioned that before.
Right.
Life-changing experience at that time as well. And I can just tell you this. Now you're talking about 1990 and just being in touch with the outside world, and the women, beautiful. And look,
So how did they take to you being
a
an
black
American black man?
Oh man, look, they were curious.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking. Hey, curious.
So you got,
And,
you got a lot of love.
I had a good time. I had a very, very good time.
Because
I'm not gonna
guys always say,
Right.
they do this thing in a lot of videos.
Right, yeah.
So how do they like black men?
Oh, yeah.
How do they like the brothers?
Hey, look,
You know,
let me
that's
tell you
always the
something.
big question.
Hey, heck of a time. That's all I gotta say.
That's right.
All right. I
Respect.
ain't miss out on nothing.
Respect.
I didn't miss out on a thing,
So-
and it was fun. And the thing is that I remember taking one of my Czech girlfriends to a Suzanne Vega concert. Suzanne Vega, Tom Steiner. I am sitting in the morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The original.
Right, the original.
Right.
Yeah, and I took her to her name was Eva. I took her to Prague. I think it was like that November. Suzanne Vega. I still got the tickets in my scrapbook.
So you had all kind of women, man. White, indigenous, green.
Hey, it was fun. It was a good time. I can just say it was a good, life-changing experience.
So what we didn't get to last time,
Mm-hmm.
you never been married.
Never been married.
Would you attribute that to your lifestyle of travel?
My lifestyle of travel. Probably. The thing is, we all fall in love. I fell in love,
Right.
I mean, college, this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm happy the way things turned out because I had friends who married in the late 80s, the late 20s, and then, they got married. I was fortunate enough, I didn't get married, started moving around. Probably I don't know if nobody wanted me. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe some women
Listen.
watch this and say, hey, we ain't want it. Okay, good. I'm happy you didn't want me.
So-
Because that allowed me to travel and do my thing.
Right.
So once I was telling you in 1989 when I got that bug, it was all over there. And so that year when I was traveling around Europe before I got that job teaching, hey, and when I got that job teaching, it just changed my life. And one thing I learned that you don't, since in the communist system, they didn't have a lot of things, and I learned that you don't need a whole lot of material things to be happy. Because I saw people happy, deep into the culture. And the thing is, they would go do things that I had never done, and just moving
Like
around.
what? Give me an example.
And enjoying life. Okay. All right. For example, I remember, and this was years ago, but okay, going skiing, going up to their cabins in the mountains.
Yeah,
you know,
being from Florida, you ain't
right?
really
Exactly.
had no experience with that.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
But I saw that people were happy
Right.
with themselves. They didn't have the material things,
Right.
but close connection with the family.
Right.
A lot of things as far as homemade things,
Right.
doing things, and the gifts I would receive would be a craft or something. I still have them that I got from the students for, thanking me and things like that, Christmas gifts, but it was something that somebody made or did something like that.
Energy,
It wasn't store
time,
bought.
and
Yeah,
energy.
right, yeah.
You
right.
think maybe having that experience that materialism gets in the way of, relationships?
Absolutely.
The distraction?
Absolutely. And I realized that I didn't need a car, and I had a great time. Okay, I didn't have this and that, I didn't have all the fancy clothes, none of that stuff. I had a great time because I got into the people and the culture.
Right.
And that changed my life. And then I came back, and when I returned, after that year, I returned home in '91, and it made me realize, hey, a lot of this stuff, I don't really need. I taught 2 more years, okay. 1993, I got that itch, but between that and '92, I took one summer I took a trip to Senegal and the Gambia, West Africa.
Wow.
Okay. And of course, I was going I was always in love with the Czech Republic after that.
Right.
So any Christmas break, any spring break, I was there.
Right.
'93, I remember in '93, I was teaching in Florida, Ely High School,
Mhm.
and I took a few students. We went over to went over to Czech Republic because I had that connection, with them.
Right.
So we brought them over, and actually it was in a smaller town away from that university town that I had taught in.
Right.
And the thing is, they accommodated the students, put them up with families and things like that. And that was in '93.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
And
many students did you take?
We were a group of about 5 or 6.
Five
It was
or six.
it was a small group.
How did you offer them that opportunity? How did that go about?
I was teaching them, so I
Mhm.
taught a few.
Right.
And we started talking about, hey, look, I want to see it, I want to do it. I talked with the parents. I had the meeting with the parents and stuff like that. Of course, I was responsible. I had another lady, another teacher.
Chaperone.
Yeah, she taught at another school, and I knew her. I knew her sons. She was a little bit older than I was, and I knew her sons and stuff, hanging out with them. And so she decided to go. She was traveling too,
Right.
and we all went over there. And we actually went during the wintertime. We flew into actually Vienna, Austria, so the students had an opportunity to see
Right.
quite. So we flew into Vienna, Austria, and then I arranged that some friends would pick us up. Got a van, came and picked us up, and then we actually they stayed with their families and everything.
He gave me some ideas, man. Maybe we could collaborate and curate some trips. That might be cool.
Oh yeah,
Because I know I want to go places, and I know other people want to go places, but
Right.
you don't know where to go. You don't know how to make the best of your time.
Oh, yeah,
unless
yeah,
you
yeah.
do some research.
Right.
And if someone has some experience there already, that makes it a lot smoother. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
People want me to do like group trips, places that I've been a lot. Like when you gonna do something in Colombia? When you gonna do something
Right,
in
yeah,
these
right.
places that you've been a lot?
Right. Mm.
Because people are still intimidated to go alone. I have a friend who just called me. He was like, "You think it'll be okay for me to go to Cartagena by myself?" And I said, "You'll be fine." I said, "But for your first time, if you were at least with someone,
Right.
it would be better." But
Right.
I'm like, "You'll be fine by yourself." I think that's not everybody's as courageous to go solo.
Well, and you think about I was doing this with no internet,
Yeah.
you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
cell phone,
You
none
deserve
of that
a,
ATM.
you deserve a trophy or something,
Hey,
man, a
hey,
plaque.
but yeah, a lot of people were doing it, and I just had the courage. Hey, look, get out there and go. I mean, I get to cities. I don't know where I'm gonna stay, whatever. But you got, hey, you follow. I just feel like, hey, you get out there, and that's where you learn.
That's right.
And so I came back. I taught, like I said, a couple more years at Ely High School, and then in '93, I was like, man, I gotta do this again. Hey, look, I got rid of everything again, man. Forget all that material stuff. '93, I got a job in that little small town, Trinec.
Where you took the kids.
Trinec.
Okay.
Trinec, and it's very difficult to pronounce it. That Czech language is tough. Okay, but it was right near the Slovak border. because in '93 they split up, became Czech Republic and Slovakia.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So now I was near the border of Slovakia and also near the Polish border. All right? So a lot of the people I met right there in Trinidad, and there's a factory there. It's still
factory.
And it's really big for the country. But it's right near the Polish border as well. So we could go, you could just, a few miles away, you're right in Poland. So it was called, there was a place near Trinidad, it was called Český Těšin, and then you had Polska Těšin, just across the, go ahead.
What you're saying, give a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're traveling these places, these days, some places you need a visa.
Right.
Now they have electronic visas.
Right,
and
yeah.
How did you work out the visa if that issue came up, or is the American passport?
The U.S. passport, I was able to get there.
Right. Okay.
And just think about this. You're talking about when that wall came down. Hey, you from the West.
Right.
You're
We're
in Eastern
welcome
Europe
to.
from the West. Hey, get on over here.
Right. Because
And
they
so-
wouldn't be able to be in
Right.
contact with people from other countries for the up until that time. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So people were still curious. Even this is 3 years now later. So I was in a small town this time teaching at a high school.
Right.
Okay, and that was a life change. So the school actually gave me, where they let me live in an apartment. They rented an apartment, so I had that paid for, and then there was a salary. And I can just tell you that at that time the salary was probably equivalent of a couple $100. But it was more than enough
Right.
to live on.
Right.
If the Czech families, Czech teacher could do that,
Right.
then I could do that by myself. I was just paying for food
Right.
and electricity.
Just
Which
imagine
was
if they
nothing.
had the digital nomads there. Like,
Right, yeah.
imagine you had some money
Right.
coming in from
Right,
the
yeah,
U.S.
right, yeah.
On top of this, man, you could have just
Right.
living like my man Tim here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, living like Tim. You're right. Yeah.
We'll get to him later. Well, those that know, they know. Okay, so after that, what's next? What's the next significant place you
All right,
stayed
okay.
at?
So I want to mention this.
Okay.
I want to mention this. So I taught there from '93, '94. Okay, and the thing is,
This is the second time.
the second time when I was at the high school. First time I was at the university.
Right.
Went home 2
99.
years.
What was it?
90 to 91 at
90
the
to
university.
91, okay.
And then I came back to the U.S. a couple of years. In '93, '94, I'm back in. And now it's no longer Czechoslovakia, it's Czech Republic.
You got to do a book, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you
So-
got to do a book, brother. I'll help you, man.
Yeah.
We can turn these stories into a book. You just sit there and record yourself all day.
So this is
Damn.
This is 90. This is 94.
Four, you said, yeah.
And so I brought a couple of Czech students,
Right.
over to the South Florida, right? And
Oh, you brought them the other way too? Wow, man.
Yeah. It was a group of about 5 of us.
That's
and,
cool.
And so the thing is that, and they were trying to get scholarships. I had a student get a track scholarship, and she ran at, and she attended Hampton. Okay.
Let me just, because before I forget, one thing we didn't mention in the last interview, you say you're a biology teacher, but you didn't tell me, or I forgot, that you were also a soccer coach.
Yeah, but this was later.
Still, we didn't know that.
Yeah, but earlier, but that's later on. I'll get there in a minute. But
Okay.
earlier I was, because my background is cross country,
You
track
already
and
said
field.
track and field.
Right.
Right.
So these young ladies were running track, and I was like, hey man, hey, these y'all pretty good.
Right.
You want to study in the U.S.? So I had chick to study at Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Another went to South Alabama and studied.
Mhm.
And they had a couple of offers and stuff like that, but they chose Hampton. And I was happy that one girl chose Hampton,
Right.
the other one chose South Alabama, and then after that, so now we at 94, and then I'm back, and I had a friend from the Czech Republic come over in '94. She came over to visit me in '94. I think I showed a picture of her, and so then. 90, and I'm just going to talk about travel. 95, I went to Trinidad Carnival, the Carnival in Trinidad. You know what I'm talking about? And so that was what? Yeah, okay, yeah. And then of course at that time, all the way, and I just from 1990, from 1989 all the way to 2002, I was in Europe every year. So I'm just throwing that out there. I was in Europe every year, mainly in the Czech Republic. Okay, I had buddies in Germany and stuff like that, and other places, and France and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But the thing is that mainly going to the Czech Republic. But in 1995, I did that Trinidad Carnival, and that's the thing to see. Your viewers, they will love that Trinidad Carnival.
Listen.
I'm telling you, it's all hey, Black Carnival. And you talking about the Sisters of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I know.
Now, hey, this
And
is
my mom's
95.
my grandmother, my mother's mom from Trinidad.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this. Make sure this is still on. I had a trip booked to Trinidad,
Right.
and I had my well, because I live in a house upstate, collapsed.
Mhm.
So I had to cancel my trip,
Mhm.
and that was like 6 years ago.
Right.
I was booked to go to Carnival,
Right.
and I had to cancel it. I had to fix that problem. I hadn't had water and for like over a week.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing is that I wasn't sure when they were going to complete it. And they did it in a day, but the day before, the night before, I just canceled it. And then they came the next day and did it in one day.
Right.
But I guess it just wasn't meant for me to go. So, yeah, I was trying to get the carnival for a long time
Right.
in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they say it's very dangerous, but
Yeah.
who knows? February, maybe you might see me.
So I was stuck on Europe. Okay, I was.
Till
I
you
was-
got some of
yeah, I
that
had done
sister
all-
love.
I had done all the countries in Europe. You know what I'm
Right,
talking about?
right.
Well, I mean, not all of them, but most of them.
Okay.
So then, yeah, I'm still fooling around with Europe. Up and then in 2002, I did Estonia.
Estonia.
See, my plan was to go to Russia. Okay, Estonia is right next door. So I went to Tallinn, Estonia. So I actually flew from Czech Republic, from Prague, I flew into Helsinki.
Helsinki.
Okay, Finland, you know, and then I went over to and I'm a big track man, so I went over to the stadium where they had the 52 Olympics, you know, they had kind of museum and all that there.
Mhm.
And then after that, I took a boat over to Estonia. From Finland over to Estonia, right, you know, just a fast boat over. And I stayed there and in Estonia. And we were just talking about that. Maybe you know, we're talking about doing the
Baltic
Baltics.
tour.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I can't.
Estonia,
Don't say that, because they
Latvia,
can copy
Lithuania.
it. They be trying to jump on my waves. I might have to edit that. They be trying to jump on my waves, man. They be listening. For real, yo. Or they be right behind me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Sorry, hey, look.
We gotta do that soon.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we go down. So then so 2002. So let me tell you what happened. And this is how I got stuck on South America. So 2002. Then my boy, I had a buddy who travels, you know, kind of in that competition and stuff like
Right.
that. And I knew him from way back in '82.
Okay.
Right. And so the thing is that we were talking about going to Rio Carnival, 2003. And we landed for Rio Carnival.
Right.
You know, I think it's late February, March, something like that. Hey, club help, the carnival going on, life-changing experience. Goodbye, Europe. Y'all can, hey, look.
You say, once you go black, you don't go back.
Hey, I got that carnival changed my mind. And, I was like, hey, I've been all this years and years in Europe. This is my back door. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So, hey, look, this is my backyard. So,
Right.
man, hey, look. So I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I did that. Went back, met this chick at the carnival, and you know we just hit it off. I went, and so I was out for the summer. So June, I go down to her. She's from Curitiba.
Curitiba.
Yeah.
What's that next to?
Brazil. It's going towards down towards Uruguay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And the thing is that down in Curitiba, we were there, Okay, and I went and stayed in her town for like 3 weeks. Okay, and the thing was is that she was waiting for me. You know, I mean, I had a good time. She was showing around. We took, oh man, we were just all over her, the area where she lived, and just a good time. And the thing is that then I remember after a couple of weeks, she got a job at Volkswagen. She said, "Oh, I'm working.
Wow.
I got a job." In
That's
the
a pretty good
right.
job for
Yeah, right, yeah.
you know
In the factory.
she had to take that.
Right, yeah. So whatever, I can't remember what it was, but I think it was and she got and she said, so the last week I just stayed by myself, and then, you know, just partying in the town, but it's a beautiful town. If you ever want to, if these guys ever want to go, let them go to, tell them about Curitiba.
Curitiba.
A beautiful city there in the southern part of Brazil. So then, after that, I came back, so I'm sitting there, and one of my buddies, my best friend, and he was like, man, I said, damn, where I want to go. And he said, I said, I need to go somewhere for Christmas. Christmas holidays coming up.
Right.
And he said, man, you know, hey, I got a buddy Ken. He's always talking about the DR. This is 2003. I was like, DR. So I'm checking. Now look, I'm gonna tell you, cause see, as a teacher, I got my time off. I'm looking to see what is American fly. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know. So I'm looking, and I saw, okay, Santo Domingo. Let me try that out. Right. So I go down to December. I go down, I land right after Christmas. It's December 26th. And I say, well, let me book like a week or so. I say January 3rd. So got to Santo Domingo, life changing again. I got to Santo Domingo. DR, only 2 hours in the air from South Florida. So look, check this out. Yeah. I get down there, man. And of course you fall in love with the first woman. But hey, look. Hey.
People try to downplay the DR.
Yeah, they downplay DR.
But DR got some of the finest women you will ever see. I will never disrespect DR when it comes to beautiful women. So yeah, everybody else is dope too, but don't.
Hey,
listen.
So I co-sign that all day.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So hey, look, DR. Santo Domingo, I was there, I came back January 3rd, right? Long weekend, hey, MLK weekend coming up.
Right.
Guess where I was?
Right back.
Back.
when you hit those, the funny thing, I think when anybody experiences certain places, they're going 4 times that year.
Yeah.
You know, you're going like 4 times. Cause
exactly.
You can't get enough in the beginning. Like,
can't get enough.
You know what I'm saying? It's so
Can't
different. It's so different.
And then, hey, look, I was there. Hey, man, January, Valentine's Day came up, back there again. Yeah. You know, and then spring break, back there again for a week.
And those Dominican girls will cook for you in a minute.
Hey, summer, I had the 2 months. Mm-hmm. I'm back down there. I may not do the whole 2 months, but I'm gonna do 6 weeks of it.
But was it when you were going back? Were you just going back to the capitals?
I was in the capital,
okay.
just in the capital. At that time, you know, and I hear guys talk about Sosua and all that. Mm-hmm. I ended up getting there to Sosua because I met this chick there, a university girl, you know, who ended up. I just tell you this quick story. You know, I mean, I went to the class. So I had a buddy from Southern, you know. He actually was down. I found out he was there. And so the thing is, he said, yeah, man, want to meet some women. Hey, look, let's go. I know this professor at the university. We go in there and just talk to that class. Oh, yeah, I'm down for that. So we get in there, and of course, class full of beautiful women, and we were speaking English to them. And there was one chick who was kind of trying to play hard to get. She had and this feminist attitude. Hey, look, I don't know. But anyway, she was up there talking, and then I ended up getting a number and stuff like that, and then I started visiting her and stuff like that, and it was just nice to meet her, some chick who was in college and stuff like that. Ended up, I'm just gonna tell a story about Pamela. She visited me in 2000 in the U.S. in 2009. I met her again in Ecuador. I get to that in 2011. And then I met her again in Rio in 2016.
She must have been special.
Right. She was, but I just say this: she was prissy and this and that, and then she wasn't. Hey, look, I couldn't have taken her on that trip that I took Michelle yet. Ain't no hell, ain't no way, no way. But you know what? She does well for herself.
Right.
in 2012, she ended up going to Spain. She got a master's degree over there in Spain.
Right,
She
right.
lives there in Spain.
Right.
So she's between Spain and she's older now. She's out of my age range now. She's 38. I'm just gonna tell you, you know. She's 38.
Man, listen, man.
Hey,
Like it or not,
yeah.
men, when it comes to men got more options, you know, like it or not. It's just, it's the way things are. We didn't make it that way,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
still in touch.
We got more options, man.
Yeah.
So, ladies, if you're watching, you know, if you find a nice older man, you know, and I know you young and fly at that time, but
Right.
you better lock somebody in.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Before you hit that mark, you know,
Right.
because, you know, I ain't one to push all that, you know, agenda, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we got options.
Hey, look, once you taste that, I don't care how old you get. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If I hang around 30, 40 more years, hey, I'm saying, hey, roll me out, Zoe, roll me out. Being that chick,
That's what you see in the Philippines and you see in Thailand.
Yeah.
Roll me out. Roll me. Don't worry, it's still recording.
Yeah, yeah,
it's just that to save energy,
Right, yeah,
the
okay.
screen goes
Right.
off, but
Hey,
it's still recording.
check this out. So, I'm running through this right quick.
Right.
Because we're talking about 35 years of this stuff.
I know.
So anyway,
No.
this is now we at 03, 04.
Right.
Okay, 04, I go to Sosua. I went
Okay.
with her. Pamela had an aunt who lived there, so we went up there a couple of days. Took the bus up there from Santo Domingo. Stayed at her place. I walked through Sosua, and I haven't been back since then. It's 2004 December.
Yeah.
And from the videos that you show and other people show, it's totally different now than when I was there, because it was a quiet little place at that time. So now let's go to so I'm teaching now. So let's go to 2005 spring. And I was so frustrated, and I want all your viewers to understand this. If you don't know the basics of the language, you know, you get frustrated, you know, because you can't communicate. I like to communicate. Even though
They ain't have no translator saves me a lot of things,
Right, yeah.
but I would much prefer. You
Yeah.
can't show your full personality.
Right, exactly.
If you don't have the language.
it was frustrating, man.
Right.
So I said, hey, look, if I'm gonna be hanging around in South America, I'm gonna learn this dang Spanish. So I took a community college at night after teaching. I would swing down, take a course a few days a week, and I told the teacher, I say, look, I just wanna learn
Right.
the basics.
Right.
You know, I ain't in for no grade or nothing like that.
Right.
You know, even though I used that credit to renew my teaching certificate.
Right.
But I was like, hey, look, I just want to learn the basics. So check this out. So 2005, and I remember talking with the professor. She had taught in Guatemala. You know what I'm talking about? I think she had a PhD in Spanish.
Mhm.
You know, and she was telling me, hey, look, Guatemala. You know, once you check, I was like, nah. So what I did, and I said, okay, 2005. Quit my job again, because I know I'm a science teacher. I can always come
That's
back
right.
and get a job. I said, hey, look, sold everything and put it in storage.
Right.
Okay, I said, I chose Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Okay, and the reason I chose Bolivia is because it was Central South America. You know, it's a landlocked country.
Right.
Okay, so Bolivia, I was able to go to Peru, see Machu Picchu. I was able to I went to Uruguay. I'm not pronouncing that right. And then Argentina. I went to Argentina, and so I was able to do those things. Okay, this is 2005, and I'm gonna tell everybody, it ain't like it is. So don't follow my lead. I'm talking about 2005, Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Okay, was, hey man, it was jumping. It was jumping. I mean, I had a time of my life. That's when it was, hey, not well known, and believe me, I used to have a time. Them jokers think they having a time in Parquilleras. Man, I had a time in Bolivia,
Right.
Santa Cruz, Bolivia. I had a time, and I'm still in touch with a chick that I met there, another college girl and stuff like that. She's in her mid-30s now, and we still in touch. I haven't seen her since 2009 because I was going, and then I went back to the DR, I think, in 2007, but it was Bolivia. A couple of my buddies came down, you know, they worked for the airline, they came down, had a good time in Bolivia, and it's an interesting country because You talk about in the Andes and things like that.
I don't really see anybody covering Bolivia.
Oh yeah. It's but it's interesting.
Mhm.
And then 06, I had an apartment there from 05 to 06.
In Bolivia.
And the thing is,
What did you do when you was down there?
Yeah, what?
I mean, you would just party for a whole year. You ain't get a job, nothing.
No.
Wow.
No.
A whole year.
Hey, look, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't a whole year. It was
Okay.
it was 7 months, because
Rounded off.
yeah, 7 months. And what
Close to a
happened
year.
was, in January, I think I mentioned that in the video before. I actually, when we talked before, I actually got a job. I interviewed for a job to start back. I got
Right.
bored.
You said in Bolivia, you
To be
interviewed for
honest,
this job.
after traveling, I did my little traveling and stuff to other countries around there. I partied, and I'm gonna be straight here. Let me just talk to your viewers.
Okay.
I used to what did I do? I partied so much. One night I come out, and I stayed in I had an efficiency, and I was paying $150 a month, plus cable, plus utilities, added up to $200 a month. The furnished efficiency.
Okay.
Okay, gated security
Right.
guard. So, and look, check this out. And that's all a single man needs. So check this out. I'm gonna tell you how, and people are gonna say this guy was sick, but check this out.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but listen to this, and so listen to this story, and I'm probably telling because we sitting here sipping on some syrup, we sipping on some of Tim's good whiskey here, smoking Tim's good cigars.
Salute.